Busy, busy, busy. That's the headlines for your August 2025 real estate market update. My name's Ed Huck, and we've been busy. So let's dive into really to explain to you guys what's been going on. So mortgage rates, let's start with mortgage rates. Mortgage rates have actually started to tick down a bit. They're not screaming down, but they're a little bit lower. So almost 0.14% less. So they were in the high sixes, 6.72 for July. This should say mid-August, they're at 6.58. So they're definitely headed down. So that's great news. And if you've been paying attention, it seems like the Fed next round might lower the rates. Now, again, mortgage rates are not tied to the federal rates, but mortgage rates kind of are a precursor. If they feel that the rates are going to be coming down, the Fed's going to be lowering rates, mortgage rates will probably come down actually a little before the Fed lowers it. So that's great news. Number of new listings and current listings for sale. So number of new listings is actually up 3.6% this year to date versus last year to date. For sales, you can't see that there. For whatever reason, my slides are acting a little goofy, but we're up 13.1% of number of properties for sale this year to date versus last year to date. But what's really interesting is that number was way up last month. So we're going to dive into that a little bit more here and explain how busy July was. But the rolling 12 new listings is only up 1.8%. The number for sale is actually still up 27%. So if you've been looking for a house lately, you know that if you were looking 2 years ago, there's a lot more inventory today than there has been in the past. Number of homes under contract. So the number of homes that went pending, that's what we call under contract. So they accepted an offer this year to date versus last year to date is actually up 2.7%. But the number of homes transferring is actually down 4%. So what that means is more homes are coming on the market and they're sitting longer. So they're available to sell or be shown so that they can sell. The rolling 12-month average for the pendings, let's call it flat. It's only down 0.2%. And sold is down, again, 4.1%. So what I want to dive into here is to show you what's been happening for the last month. So in July, if you look at this, and it might be hard if you're looking at this on a small device. So that's why I printed the numbers next to it. So this July of 2025, we put 1,838 homes under contract in July. July of 2024, only about 1,564 homes went under contract. And July of 2023, 1,591 homes went under contract. So this past July has been very, very busy. And this first 15 days of August has been very busy. It's outpacing the first 15 days of last August. So average sale prices are up about 8.6% if you look at year to date versus last year to date, and the rolling 12 is up about 8.4%. Days on market is pretty much flat. So it's still taking about 40 days to sell a house. Months worth of inventory. So this explains like if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, anything under 3 months worth of inventory is considered a seller's market. We are ticking up. So it was 1.5 months to sell off our inventory. Now it's 1.6. Doesn't sound like a big change, but every month that number keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. When we were at our peak or our best, our strongest sellers market, that number was like 0.7. So we are definitely tracking back towards a neutral market. For sellers, what's this all mean? Lower interest, the current interest rates in these sixes might be slowly coming down. And buyers are getting used to this mid 6% rate. So I think the buyers have got their heads kind of wrapped around this at this point and just understand that they're probably going to be, in this 6%. So they're starting to come out of the woodwork and buy houses. Last 40 days, again, 45 days has been very, very busy. So if your home is currently for sale and is not under contract, and you've been for sale in July and August, time to look at your price or your condition, one of those, or your marketing. You need to hire a new realtor. But if that's not the case, it's the price or the condition. You need to address one of those two things. But it is still a strong seller's market overall. And again, right now we're very, very busy again. So if you're thinking about putting your house in the market, I would do it ASAP. Why we still see this strong seller's market. Mortgage rates for buyers. Don't expect the rates to come crashing down. Everything we keep hearing is maybe high 5% by the fourth quarter of this year, which is right around the corner. But something I want to always point out, though, is if today's rate's at 6.5%, and if you were to buy a house for $350,000 and put 20% down, your mortgage rate is $1,769 a month. If rates come down a full 0.75%, so you get down to 5.75%, your mortgage is now $1,634 a month. That saves you $135 a month. That's it. So is $135 a month a lot? Yes and no. I took my family to Longhorn Steakhouse and it was well over $135. So it's one trip to a nice restaurant. I don't even want to say it's a very nice restaurant, but it's not an amazing restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's not a lot of money. And to put that in perspective, I have some rental properties, and built into all my leases is a 5% annual increase in the rental price. I have a couple rentals in the mid-2000 price point. So when those leases come due after 12 months, those rate goes up $125 a month. So point being is, if you're out there looking for a house, and you still need to buy a house, don't worry about the rates coming down, to high fives. What you'll end up doing is waiting until, if you buy now, say the rate's at 6.5, wait a couple of years until maybe rates go down, low fives, high fours, and then refinance. Again, buyers, last 45 days has been super busy. So you will notice we're back to more multiple offers. You might have to get pretty aggressive with your offers when you're making them, to try to beat out the other buyers, especially in the under $500,000 price point. And again, home prices are still on the rise. Appreciation rates are still going up at about 8% a year. For buyers and sellers, some of the wild cards still are the economy and tariffs and, world events. So we still have, if you watch the news at all, those continue to be something that we've got to keep an eye on and just watch here in this third and fourth quarter of 2025. If you have any specific questions, these are pretty broad stroke. This is all for Medina, Cuyahoga, and Lorain counties. It's very hyper local right now. So talk to your realtor, talk to your favorite Ed Huck Team realtor, and we can get these exact same stats for your specific neighborhood. And make it a great week. Enjoy the rest of your August.